cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. As I've explained to many of you who follow my lives, that I'm going to be restructuring this channel. Restructuring to the point to where almost every single day we'll have a special purpose. We'll talk about prison, we'll talk about politics, we'll talk about the streets, current events, how you're feeling, all of these different things. We will also save a day, like today, for me to address your comments and questions. No matter if they're good, no matter if they're bad, or if they're indifferent, or if it's just you have a burning desire to ask a question, this will be the time where this really becomes your show, as I've been saying since the beginning, because it's not only my show, it's all about the PBR car. And everybody else that is involved in the PBR car or has subscribed, or maybe not subscribed, or whatever your purpose is on this channel, this will be the day that you have a voice. That hundreds of thousands of other people, if they potentially choose to click on this video, will have an opportunity to see in full display just exactly what you're talking about. So I've chosen eight comments and questions that just stood out to me. Some of them made me laugh. Some of them resonated something within me. Some of them reminded me of why I do what I do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these 8 left comments in the comments section. But we're going to kick it off just right with a little bit of music. Yeah, sets the mood, doesn't it? Gets me to that state to where I could just roast or give praise. Whatever comes first. So let's get into the first one. This one right here came from Josh Robinson in the Do I Have Regrets video. If you have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, then you're just pissing on today. Now that right there is something that I want to blast on my Facebook. I want to put it on my Instagram. I want to put it everywhere. You're pissing on today. Isn't that not what I've been saying all along? Many people live in the past. They just can't let the past go. And at least one of these comments in here will show you just how much people can't just let the past go. We dwell on things that are out of our control. We don't have a time machine. Do I have regrets? Like I said, I don't have a time machine, so I can't go back and change anything, so what good does having regrets do me? So this one right here, if you have one foot in the past and one in the future, you're just pissing on today. Remember that one, guys. That one's an important one. So this next comment came from the video, Prison If Homie Uses the N-Word. Corey Crane said, he's saying respect yourself and others. It's free, worth a fortune, and if you're looking for culture as a white, then let it be not using derogatory terms and being offended by being called one. Now think about this for a minute, right? The whole purpose of putting that video out there. If you look at this current culture that's going on with the younger people, millennials and down, the use of the N-word is like on all of their lips. Most of them, in many different ways. And I've even heard some people in my generation just shoot it out there because they hear it so much that they do it themselves. Now, it wasn't a shot at any one particular person when I put out that video. Some people speculated that I was talking about various different people. Everything from end of sentence to K-Frog, to Swifty Blue, to whatnot, what this and this and that and the third. It had nothing to do with any of those people. It had to do with the youth, period. Now, I get the opportunity to hear from all different perspectives and all different sides, all point of views, all kinds of cultures and races and whatnot of people that come into my comments section, they come into my DMs. And I asked a dude that I talk to quite frequently, black man. I asked him, what do you think of this? And he said he's constantly checking young people about using that word. He doesn't even like it when other blacks use the word. He don't like the word, period. So here's a little tip. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're end of sentence. I don't care if you're fucking Billy Bob fucking Bowback, Brokeback, whatever you are. I don't care if you're Swifty Blue or I don't care if you're Nifty Red. Whoever the fuck you are, if you're using that word, just be mindful that you're probably offending somebody. You may think that it's slang and harmless slang, but if you don't know the history to the usage of this word, then you're probably just going to piss somebody off and you might end up getting socked in your mouth one day. Just saying, man. Piece of advice. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. Another one. Regarding the video Prison If Homie Uses the N-Word from Brian Crowley. Classic video, real shit though 100. But he asks, yo JD, what about when blacks or Latinos try to speak clear and proper English? Is that the same shit? Alright bro, keep doing your thing. First off, what is proper English? I still haven't heard proper English outside of watching some old movies back in the days when John Adams and George Washington and people that live in proper society and all that talk. There really is no proper English because English is kind of like a bastard language in a lot of ways. It's not even at all the same as what's commonly referred to as Old English. If you were to speak to somebody who's speaking Old English to you, you wouldn't have a fucking clue as to what they're saying, right? The reason it's called English is because it was from the original 13 colonies, right? And in the 13 colonies, they spoke the same dialect of those from England. So they called it speaking English, but really, it was a mixed bag of many different things. Wherever they came from, there was a lot of people that were Dutch, there were people that were French, Spanish, whatnot, German, and they brought a lot of their slang and terms with it, and it mixed in with this New World or colonial English that created the English you hear every day. I mean, if you have somebody from England asking you for a cigarette, he might ask you for a fag. And if that's the case, you might want to punch him in the face. But before you do that, before you resort to assaulting this Englishman, know that he's just asking you for a cigarette. Or if somebody asks you for an eraser because he wants to erase something that he wrote, he might ask you for a rubber. We say pentagon, they say pentagon. Some say potato, we say potato. So there's really no proper English. It really boils down to just speaking intelligently and clearly enough to where I understand what you're saying without resorting to using derogatory words directed at somebody's race that was originally designed to degrade people. All I'm saying. Next one goes to the Antifa Goes to Prison. Guess who's waiting for them video? Mr. James Campos. He said the anime owns the Orion Brotherhood. So you talking long shit, PCJD. I don't know what the Orion Brotherhood is. I have no idea what the Orion Brotherhood is. Sounds like something out of fucking Star Trek. Don't really think that the big homies control the Orion Brotherhood from the Klingon Empire or the Vulcans or the Dominion, wherever it is on Star Trek, buddy. But you really need to rush up on learning how to write simple words. You have a phone, right? You have Google. You could search it out, write it correctly, and then come back and correct your fucking answer. But to answer your question, this is what happens to somebody when they did a little bit of county time for drunk driving, right? They've been in the county a little bit. They've read a couple of books. They might have read The Black Hand. They might have watched American Me, Blood In, Blood Out, whatever it is. But let me tell you this, buddy. When you go up into a real penitentiary, whether it be state or fed, you'll quickly learn just how fast you're wrong. Nobody runs either one of these organizations. They run themselves. And that's just what it is. If you had really done time, you would know that. But of course, you're probably a Wessy Sissy or a Sassy Savvy or one of these other jackwagon weirdos that just constantly come into my DM like that little piece of poop that's the side of the toilet that you just can't flush without bringing out the brawny brush. That's what it is. Moving along to the next one, though. How does it feel to rob a bank? Bird Doe said, so JD, you Are you and Sav evicted from Walmart? Damn glad you're in a way better place in life and doing the damn thing. And youngsters, regardless, nothing worth an hour in that concrete and steel. Well, thank you for your comment and thank you for your words of praise in my success. But I am not banned from Walmart. As a matter of fact, I plan on making a pilgrimage over to the El Reno Walmart where this bank robbery took place, just to kind of put myself back in that time and think of what was I thinking, what was going through my mind. I might do a whole piece on it so you guys can see it. But no, I'm not evicted or banned from Walmart. Wasn't caught sniffing seats or stalking anyone in there or doing anything weird. As a matter of fact, I didn't even make it into the store. The bank just so happened to be right near the main entrance and exit. I went in, I did the deed, and I walked out. And that was it. Really had nothing to do with the Walmart in itself. But yeah, thank you for the praise. I appreciate that. And just to answer your question, no, I'm not evicted from Walmart. Go there all the time. This one comes from Brian Laus. Probably butchering the fuck out of that name, but anyways, you know what I'm saying. The prison love letter master video. What a guy, Big JD to the rescue. You know you got problems if you're depending on Big JD for your outcome. Now what the hell is that supposed to mean, Brian? Why is my advice not worth more than anyone else's advice? I mean, it's just, if you're able to write and articulate your words, you're like gold in there, because a lot of them people can't. I mean, Jesus. Look at a lot of their political views. Many of them come out and they join the Democratic Party. The party that locked them all up in California in the first place. The party that put a lot of these draconian laws into place. The party that has a vice president that refused to let people out of prison despite the fact that they were innocent. There was evidence to prove they were innocent. But yeah, there's a lot of people in prison. Many of them cannot read or write. Many of them cannot articulate their words. Hence the reason why they're in prison in a lot of cases, because the failed education system, being what it is, has not done a good enough job in educating the youth. No, they haven't. So yes, somebody that can actually write a letter in form 2 sentence and can articulate and be creative enough is always going to be worth his weight in gold inside of any prison, any kind of an institution there is. Just a given. On to the next one. This one right here really tickles me pink. And it's amazing how this video, being as old as it is, it's shit, like 8 months old. 7 or 8 months ago this video was put out, and yet these Westie sissies are still obsessing over it. For somebody that's so weak, somebody that's so frail, somebody that's such a lame, a loser, a lowlife, these people sure do obsess over this video to this very, very day. This one comes from Opie in the Wes Watson fact check video. I've seen very little so pathetic as this man. What a small man. Uthuggin. It up hardcore. You go, baby girl. He even gave himself a thumbs up. Because nobody else gave him that thumbs up, but he did. Right? He's never seen something so pathetic. Apparently, he's never been to Washington, D.C. That's pretty pathetic in itself. But yeah, these Westie sissies, man. And you wonder why I always talk about them. I did that video about this man. I've done 2 videos about him, right? That's it. Other people have made multiple videos about me for days and weeks and months. Many people still obsess over me. They're all up in my DMs all the time, threatening me, my family, everything, my whole entire existence, because of this one video right here. Let me tell you something, right? When somebody asks me for my opinion, or when somebody asks me to speak on something or to talk about something, I turn it into content and I talk about it. But other than that, my life is great. And not only that, but I'm a man. And I made it by not relying on other people, manipulating other people, working and burning and begging other people, or just moving into some poor unfortunate woman that's on the rebounds, fancy apartment. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I'm a man. I work, I hustle, I move, and I'm successful. But if these people want to continue to obsess over this video, hey, have at it, man. If you like to torture yourself, let me know. I'll be auctioning off a GIMP suit here within the next few weeks. Let's get into the other one. This one came from GG in the Fresno Bulldogs Then and Now video. He said, bro, they used to be norteños. Easy, stop trying to make the Bulldog legit. They are very much so the bottom of the bottom in the prison because they deserve that spot. Nothing really good comes out of Bulldogs. They are built on shystiness. Now, if you have a chance to read that again or pause it, you could see exactly why I was the letter writing master. A lot of these people can't even write fucking simple words. So the bottom of the bottom. So they are very much so the bottom. Now you understand why I was the letter writing master. Let me explain something to you, Gigi. You ain't never been in the feds, obviously, because if you were, you would know that there are many Bulldogs, cats from Fresno, that run with the homies in the feds. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And some of the older gente roll and rock with us. And they're going to be the one that's going to save your ass in a riot, possibly. Or they may be the one that has your back to the fullest in any situation, or they might even be your celly. What are you going to do? You going to go tell the big homie that you ain't selling up with this bullfrog? Not going to happen. Not in the feds. Now, whatever they are in the state, the reason why I put out that video is to basically give them the recognition that they deserve in regards to the fact that they had turned down S&Y assessment in the early days when they decided to go solo on their own. They're not S&Y. They're not considered to be S&Y. They'll never be considered to be S&Y. They're their own thing. And they're deep enough to maintain that level wherever it is that they're at. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a fan or I'm a hater alike. But what I do is I give recognition to anybody that stands their ground. But you to say that they're at the bottom of the bottom is, you misspoke. Because the S&Y yard is the very bottom of the bottom. And the Bulldogs are not on that yard. So there it is there. Well, that's pretty much it. All 8 comments and questions. Good, bad. I chose a few. I just picked them out of the air. Leave your comments. Continue to leave your comments. Leave your questions, concerns, anything. If it's good enough, it makes me laugh. If it catches my attention, we're probably going to put you on blast. On Put You on Blast Tuesday. And that's just what it is. You already know what it is. You heard it right here. Prison Reg Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, non-sugarcoat, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality. And I'm out.